Hello, I'm Charles Meyer, and I've been a historical weapons collector and reenactor for many years now. One of my favorite parts of the hobby is being able to shoot the weapons that I collect. I'm here today to demonstrate to you how to properly load, operate, and fire a Browning 1919a4. The gun to my right here is a Browning 1919a4. It fires a .30-06 cartridge in semi-automatic fire. The originals, built during the Second World War, used up into Vietnam, were fully automatic to 500 to 600 rounds per minute. This one is not, as it's a civilian model. I'll now demonstrate the loading feature of the 1919a4. To load the weapon, we'll first have to open the top cover. To do this, we have to open by pulling back on the top cover latch. I will demonstrate. Pull firmly back on the latch and then easily lift open the top cover. This opens the trunnion and bolt to ammunition. Now we will load the trunnion and bolt with said ammunition. Next to the gun here in the M1 ammunition can, we have 200 rounds of .30-06 cartridge on a fabric belt, as shown here. To load the weapon, one simply inserts the belt into the trunnion and loads the ammunition in straightly. I'll demonstrate. Now the ammunition has been loaded in the trunnion, but for it to properly hold there and feed during firing, one must close the top cover. Simply push down and hit firmly to lock it into place. Now the cartridges and the belt will stay in the trunnion. Next, I'll demonstrate the firing procedure of the weapon. To load the weapon, one must fire the charging handle. But before that, we need to make sure that there is nothing downrange of the weapon. Our target away is a hillside about 200 meters. It's clear of obstruction and personnel. I will now demonstrate the firing of the weapon. We simply pull back on the charging handle. A round is inserted into the breech and the gun is hot. This gun has no safety. The only safety is the trigger. I will now demonstrate the fire rate of the weapon. Fire in the hole! That is a very smooth fire rate of the weapon with one minor jam. On these old machine guns, it's often common. I will now demonstrate unloading and clearing of the weapon. To unload the weapon, we pull back on the top cover latch and open the top cover as previously discussed. Here, the cartridge belt fell out. That does not always happen. We must remove it and store it back in the ammunition can safely to keep it away from any insecurities of being loaded into the weapon improperly. Now we will clear the weapon. You do this by pulling the bolt back twice to ensure there are no cartridges inside. Once, as you noticed, a cartridge fell out. Second time to ensure. After this, we will pull the trigger as so to make sure there is no retained tension on the firing pin spring. We will now close the top cover firmly as before, and the weapon is clear. And that is how to properly load, operate, and fire a Browning 1919a4. Thank you. I've been Charles Meyer.